understand? What I'm reading as information is universal information. It's on the internet as well. So you learn about the Taoism, the philosophy of the understanding of who you are, that all is one, that you need to live with the flow of the universe, that you need to actually learn to love everybody and embrace and not give resistance. You understand? So it's a bit different to what they teach you in religion. They teach you in religion that there is this God, and if you don't follow this God, you go to hell. The philosophy of Taoism teaches you more about the flow of life, that everybody is loved because God is everything. Even those that so-called are not Christian, you don't have to be loved just by you being Christian. In other words, you don't have to be a Christian to receive the love of God. That is why the sun shines over every single person, no matter what philosophy you actually follow, right? You are divine. Despite the fact that you belong to this group of spirituality or that group of religion, we all divine, we all is an expression of divine source. You understand? So what is I talk about Taoism, right? It's a flow, it's a natural flow. So Taoism teaches you about effortless action. It teaches about acting without force. It teaches you about living with the natural flow of life, loving and understanding that you are part of the universe, that you are part of nature, right? That you are love, letting things unfold rather than forcing things to happen. Letting things unfold. That's the flow of life. There's no resistance. You're letting it unflow, right? You're letting it unflow and unfold, basically, right? That's how it is. You don't give resistance. What is playing out in your reality at this moment when you're going through this pain, going through this loss? What is playing out, right? Processing your grief, right, is a normal thing. We all should be processing our grief. When you have a loss in your life, you have to process that grief according to your own understanding, and maybe seek some help from a therapist, or maybe you go online and you seek some help there, or maybe you go to religious doctrine, read the Bible, and seek some help. Go to a pastor that can actually help you, a man of God that's really soaked in love and not in selfishness and separation. Maybe he can help you to go through the pain and the grief of the loss, because that is a normal thing. Grief and pain is very normal, right? We cannot deny it. That is part of life, because we're always going to lose something in this reality so that we can get something else. But it depends on how you process that pain, okay? You understand? Like, for example, just because I process my loss and through my grief of losing my physical abilities, right, at the age of 18, it doesn't mean that all of a sudden my limbs came back to normal. No, it means that psychologically I was able to move on with my life. Psychologically and mentally, I was able to achieve the things that I've achieved so far in my life. You understand? And still achieving. I don't see myself as somebody with an impairment. I see myself as somebody who's empowered, because my mindset is empowered. My physical situation, my mindset allows me to deal and work with my physical situation in a very positive way. That's how it is, okay? Like, for example, a mother loses a child, okay? Her only child, okay? She goes through that grief process, okay? Of accepting what happened and letting that pain go, and also beginning to also focus on the fact that she has to be appreciative of what she's experienced. She had this baby, she experienced the love of having this child, and now the child is gone. Now that's where gratitude comes into play. You begin to be grateful. Like in my situation, I was more like, okay, I'm grateful that I can even think, I can even live, I'm even breathing, I'm able to operate in the world, and actually contribute positively towards the world. That's what really made me feel more grateful. I looked at other people in my situation, or even in worse situations, and I see myself, you know what? I'm so grateful that I have these abilities. At least I still have these abilities. I might have lost something, but I still have these other abilities that can allow me to live my life as positive as possible. So when you go over grief, right, and heal from grief, it prepares you to move forward, but moving forward more positively without you still thinking about the past. You know what I'm trying to say? Living in the past. So what I've noticed about myself is that I never give myself time or space to look back to the past all the time of when I was somebody who was able-bodied and all the things I used to do.